Okay, item number 6, approval of board policies and objectives. There are 3 policies listed. They're all first reading, so no action is merited. Are there any questions about these 3 policies under first reading?
Would you like me to, I can address the first 2.
That's fine.
Sure,
Yeah,
the
just a
first one
brief
is
review.
the investment of college funds. Governor Rauner signed into law House Bill 4573 that authorizes units of local government to be able to invest in corporate notes. Our financial advisor brought that to our attention and strongly recommends we include that in the college's investment policy. So we've made the appropriate amendments for that. The next item is the modifications to the facilities use policy. We had some board member comments regarding community groups wanting to use the college facilities. We're concerned about the insurance requirements we had. Upon reviewing our policy and some of the policy of our peers, I realized that their policies incorporated a concept of risk into their decision-making so that it gave their facilities teams a little more latitude with how we made our facilities available to the public. So these proposed changes address those concerns that were brought to us by our board.
And excuse me, Ken, I think on page 11, there's a typo related to that policy. It's just a small piece,
Ah,
but
thank you.
check into that
Okay.
detail.
Sure.
Yeah, so just check that out. Next policy, the post-retirement incentive. I believe that's about changing the criteria and process. Would you like to speak to that quickly, Ken? Policy 930?
Page 15.
Yeah, page 15, 16, 17.
I didn't.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine.
Okay, sorry about that, Sue, thank you.
The changes to this policy are being recommended based on the new requirement of STRS, going from the 6 to 3% limit. And so one of the things that we're looking at here primarily is to allow for a post-retirement incentive program, but that the payment for the post-retirement incentive would be after 1 year instead of 120 days, to allow us to be able to, the infamous word, claw back any additional contribution that STRS might require based on that, the earnings under the new regulation.
Have you guys looked at this policy change?
We did. We have.
Katie actually drafted the last paragraph, that is the revised paragraph in the red line version that you have.
Okay, thank you. Moving on. Item 7, approval of financials. And if it's all right with board members, I'll recommend we take all 3 of those items together. Resolution approving reimbursement of travel, meal, and lodging expenses, which is 7.1. 7.2, resolution approving and ratifying bills, authorizing budget transfers, and accepting monthly financial report. And item 7.3, authorization for transfer of remaining Illinois Capital Development Board Tech Building Trust Funds to capital project funds. Is the board comfortable taking those 3 together? Okay, motion please.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yeah. On 7.2, you know, I look at everything when it comes through the board packet. And when I was looking at the bills, there's a section for P cards, and I know the College of Lake County has P cards, and I know there's been some press out there lately with other governmental entities that use P cards. I guess, Ken, maybe you explain the safeguards that we have in place and the process for the college's use of P cards?
Yes, I'd be happy to. In fact, I started drafting a board update so I could provide more detailed report, but just at the 50,000-foot version, we have about almost 50 employees who use a P card at the college, mostly administrators, but some supervisors. We review those P card transactions every month, but I think the key thing is when employees use the card, their supervisors review, and then purchasing reviews every transaction after the supervisor's review. And those transactions that might look suspicious or we would have questions on, we follow up with them directly with the vice president of a particular unit to make sure we get the appropriate clarity. So we do a very good job reviewing every transaction at least 2 times. Then that brings us to the last step of the control process, where on a monthly basis, we make sure our board members can see all the transactions that take place, so that there's at least one final study that takes place. But at least two very good checks up front, and so far, things have been working very well.
Do our auditors ever comment? I mean, I know they audit that
They
stuff.
do.
but
A couple years ago, they noted that some of the...
They take a look at our controls and they're okay with...
2 years ago, they noted that not every employee using the card had signed an affidavit that they understand the appropriate use of the card. So we were able to get that corrected, make sure all employees are signing that affidavit. And the other things that they just want to suggest, make sure that we take the P-card transactions and make sure they flow through our financial system. We're in the process of making sure all those transactions come through our financials. We do about 80,000 to 90,000 transactions a month, so we just want to make sure that all gets integrated into our overall financials.
And there's actually at least two individuals that review each P-card purchase?
Correct. The supervisor and then the purchase department, as the final check. And we don't just sample it, we look at them all.
Thank you.
I have a question on the investments language on page 39, under the financial highlights. Just curious, at the bottom of the page, you mentioned interest rates for investment purposes are currently averaging 2.43 for investments. I'm just curious, how does that compare with other community colleges? Is that kind of average?
I'm sure it's pretty favorable, Connie.
I think, yeah, it's really been increasing over the past several months, 5 or 6 months.
Right.
So I think compared to most places.
And by the way,
I was happy to see
Oh,
that.
also, we also just found out from, we negotiated with Dave Hittenmiller here. We negotiated with First Midwest Bank, and we don't have any compensating balances, so there's not an amount that we have to keep in there. And they're gonna actually be paying us interest based on the Illinois funds rate, 102% of the Illinois funds rate, so we're actually gonna be earning interest at 101.99%, and that's gonna be benchmarked every quarter. It's gonna go up or down, depending on what's going on with the Illinois funds rate.
And how close are we to investing in the most aggressive things by law that we can invest in? How close?
Really
are
pretty
we?
good. We switched over to PFM a little bit, almost about a year ago. It was last October, and we've been a lot more aggressive as far as pretty much everything before was in CDs, 3-month CDs.
Or in the bank.
Or in the bank, earning 0.35. So we certainly have taken a much more aggressive approach. I think as far as this new investment policy, our PFM makes sure that we are in compliance. There's a compliance report that we give out every quarter, making sure that we're within compliance. We don't want to be the CODs. So we're pretty good as far as making sure that we stay within our parameters that we've set up.
Do we handle the investments for the foundation as well as you? Okay, so that's part of this that you're
Yes.
talking about as well?
So
Not in this
PFM,
number here. I mean, this
Right.
is just the college's funds, not the foundation's funds.
right, but last year when we did our RFP, we included PFM, we included the foundation, and we all went together as far as with PFM, and were able to get some really good rates because of that. So they're certainly benefiting from it. And First Midwest Bank, they're getting the benefits of that, our increase there as well.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Dr. Fager.
Aye.
Dr. Griffin.
Aye.
Ms. Holland. Aye. Mrs. Oilschlager.
Aye.
Ms. Roca.
Aye.
Mr. Stanton.
Motion carries.